first 3 episodes of Daredevil Born Again, the brand new show on Disney+. Spoiler review, I'm going to get right into spoilers, so if you haven't seen the show, I just want to say I recommend it. Obviously, there's differentiating opinions. I skew more positive, so let's just get right into it. Spoiler warning. I think this show is really solid so far. I'm kind of confused. Maybe it's just a podcast that I listen to having problems with the show, but I'm really enjoying this show a lot. I think it's incredibly strong. There are a few things that I don't love, but overall I think it's much stronger than a bulk of the MCU shows. I didn't watch the the Daredevil show on Netflix, so I can't compare it to that, unfortunately. But it's pretty much exactly what I expected. Now, getting into the plot points, obviously Foggy dies, episode 1. People could debate whether that matters or not, whether you need him or not. I mean, other than having him in the courtroom scene, I'm not really sure if you need him that much in this show. It's a continuation of the Netflix show, so they're not starting over. And yeah, they really, really needed, I guess, him as a motivative plot point to kind of get the show going. I thought the White Tiger treatment was a little bit bizarre. Now, I'm not going to lie and say I'm a huge White Tiger fan, or even read his comic books, or even know that much about him. But I just think they should have at least given him one scene to fight. I thought it was a little bit bizarre. They didn't even give him that. Although, killing him, I thought was... I'm not sure if they did this, because the actor tragically passed away almost 2 years ago now. So whenever this was filmed was a while ago. This was at least 3 years ago this was filmed, it seems like. But... yeah, just I would have given him a scene regardless. Like I said, I don't know if that was the plan and they had to reshoot it or what, but I thought his plot line was good. I have an issue with so many people saying that, like, Daredevil did the wrong thing by giving up his identity and whatnot. I thought, he's a lawyer and he got him out. He was on trial for murder and he did what he had to do to get him, acquitted. And I think that's the whole point of being a lawyer. So I disagree with that. A lot of people I see saying that the CGI was poor in episode 1, especially in the opening fight scene. I don't really see that. I mean, there may have been a couple of wonky punches, but I'm not really sure what people are talking about. I do think that the continuous one-shot is a little bit overplayed. It was really, really cool in some movies and TV shows, but I don't think it necessarily has to be used all the time. It's a little bit of a trope now in action movies, it seems like. Another thing I disagree with is I see people say that the original costume where he's just wearing a black bandana is better than the, classic comic book red costume, with the real helmet. I totally disagree. I don't know what people are talking about. To me, that bandana Daredevil look was pretty much the main reason I didn't watch a Netflix show, because that doesn't seem like a superhero show to me. It just seems like a guy throwing punches with a bandana on. Say what you want about She-Hulk, but Daredevil's costume in She-Hulk was perfect. The way he was moving is perfect. That's the Daredevil I want to see. If you haven't seen that, at least go on YouTube and type in Daredevil She-Hulk scenes and go watch those fight scenes because they were really good and I thought he looked great. So he has some fight scenes in there and he has a couple of fight scenes in Echo. So they have introduced Daredevil to the MCU before this show, which I think weirdly has gone underrated. They haven't really spoken that much about it. I really, really like the courtroom scene. I think people are getting so nitpicky now where people are saying, oh, is he even a good lawyer? Like, first of all, he is a good lawyer, but the point of him is that he only defends innocent people, and he can tell if you're lying or not. That's the point, and he's representing this guy because it's the right thing to do, and he's trying to get a hero off for being charged with murder. So I think really nitpicking, like, if he's actually a good lawyer or not. Again, I'm not a lawyer, so I guess if you're a lawyer, that's an interesting thing to do. But at least from the casual point of view, I think the courtroom stuff is interesting. Now, they did some reshoots. Originally, the show was supposed to be like 18 episodes and a courtroom drama. And originally, Daredevil wasn't supposed to be in the costume until episode 4, and they didn't like that. And what's weird is, it seems like they've used the exact same outline that they were going to use, because other than the original fight scene in the first episode, he wasn't in costume. He's not, right? Because episode 2, episode 3, and now it'll be episode 4. So it doesn't really seem like, for all the talks of reshoots and reworking the script, it doesn't seem like they really reworked it too much. On the other side of things, Vince D'Onofrio, look, he's a really good actor. I don't know. There's just something about his voice and his acting that's just grating to me. it just seems like I'm not saying it doesn't come off naturally, it's not a good performance. It's always like almost tiring to watch it because it seems like he's acting. It seems like it's a guy acting, which I know is not is kind of an insult to an actor, but it's more just a personal thing for me where it just almost comes off like he's laboring. I don't know if it's the voice, but it's not as smooth as I'd like it to be. And it's not my favorite character, to be honest, but I still think he does a good job. James Gandolfini's son, I believe his name is Michael Gandolfini, plays a cool character, not cool character, but I guess an interesting character is kind of like his protege or kind of a young staffer. So I think it's cool to see him in this. I always wanted James Gandolfini as the Kingpin. I think he would have been great. Obviously, he passed away, so that wasn't possible. Actually, both Kingpins passed away because Michael Clark Duncan, who I also liked as Kingpin from the original movie, I liked him as well. He also passed away, unfortunately. So yeah, going as we head deeper into Daredevil and this show, I think the show is really solid. I'm not getting really Disney Plus vibes at all. When you watched, Hawkeye and Echo and a lot of these shows, they really came off as Disney Plus shows. It almost you just felt it. When you watch this show, it doesn't really feel like anything. It just kind of feels just like a show. It just feels like you're just watching content, which I think is very good. And what's also good is I am invested in this, and it seems like a different, everyone's like, oh, this doesn't seem like the same world as Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, yes, that's the point. If I was a lawyer working in Hell's Kitchen, regular people shouldn't have information about what's going on in space. Like, that's the whole point. So I think this show definitely helps them, kind of navigate that. My hope, I think there'll be, I know we're getting Muse as a villain. I think that's the character from Wednesday. There's a character from the show Wednesday who I think is going to end up being Muse. And then we'll probably get more Bullseye and other villains. I think we'll just be Kingpin. I think we'll get other MCU characters. I'm not sure who. Definitely don't think Spider-Man. Obviously, we're going to get the Punisher, and that's a plot point I should probably mention. That's honestly the biggest plot point is the White Tiger was killed at the end of episode 3. But by what looks like they want you to think is the Punisher. I don't think it's going to be Frank Castle, obviously. But I think this will trigger Frank Castle into coming back out, putting back on the uniform, and taking out some cops. A little bit surprised that the show isn't getting shit on more for being quote-unquote woke because of, putting the Punisher on tattoos on cops and making them corrupt. But I honestly think that's really realistic. I mean, we've all seen the Punisher logo pretty much. If you see a Punisher logo in the wild, there's a 99.9% chance that person is a very, very right-wing person. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not telling anyone what to believe in. I'm just saying it is absolutely a dog whistle. Like, there's no doubt about it. If you see a Punisher logo on someone's car, they're not going to be like a left-leaning liberal. So I think it's at least fair to say that. It doesn't make them corrupt. It's fair to say at least some of their politics by looking at the logo. So I think it's interesting that they're bringing that. I think it's smart to acknowledge that as part of the show because it's become the biggest part culturally of the character, is that. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. That's my review of Daredevil episodes 1, 2, and 3. I like this show. I think it's solid. I think it's certainly one of the better MCU shows. There's a long way to go. It certainly matters how they stick the landing. But again, solid show. No complaints from me thus far. Just minor things. Thanks for watching. And as always, I'll see you on the next one.